Episode 114.
That's right, we're live.
There we go.
Episode 114 of On Tap with the Southside Collection. You never know when that live button's going to hit.
I'm just glad you didn't start counting it down. Boom, and now I got it on my Facebook so I can share it.
I'm Garrett Horvath, and with me as always, Carlos Diaz, we're Southside
what
Collection. And joining us this Tuesday evening, a
It's
rare
a
Tuesday
special
broadcast
Tuesday
of the
evening, yeah.
podcast. We had to make it happen. Show that we're able to work on the go,
Change it up.
and adapt.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're about. But for Jennifer from 4J Brewing Company.
Yes, thank you. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you for joining us. One of the two
Absolutely.
owners, if I read that correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And it's you and your mom.
Yes.
Gotcha. And so,
Would it
with
be weird if she was the mom?
Yeah. My 16-year-old daughter doesn't even try the beer. Loves it.
She has a
It's
great
unbelievable,
nose for it.
Everything it's like this guy. Whenever I send him flyers, he's like, "Put flames on it." She's that person where she's
Yeah.
like, "This needs another dry hop."
Right, exactly.
But no, so two owners, and I read it, but some people may not know. What is the story behind the name 4J Brewing?
So I am the fourth J in the family, and me and my sisters are all J names. So Jessica, Jackie, Joanna, and I'm Jennifer. So my dad started homebrewing years ago, and it was kind of funny but not funny. On this past Friday, we had some people at 4J, and they were like, "Yeah, we heard the story of the girl starting this brewery in honor of their late father."
Yeah.
And we're like, "No, my dad's right there.
Yeah.
Like he's still
He's good to go.
He's still kicking."
Yeah, he's right here with all of us.
Don't write him off. Don't write him off
No,
just yet.
he's the official taste tester now, but he was the home brewer, and I got with him and started doing it with him. He roped me in, and we started doing it together when I graduated college, and it was fun, and I got obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much usually what happens when you start homebrewing. And so we talked about it and said, let's do it. I got laid off from my job, and
That'll help.
yeah, so kind of kicked things into gear,
Yeah.
and got laid off, and so we said, all right, let's do it. So we started the process in 2015,
Okay.
and finally opened our doors in March 2008.
Gotcha.
18.
Yeah, 'cause I saw you guys just recently celebrated a year.
Yeah.
Nice.
So is Spring Branch always going to be you guys
Yeah.
are located in Spring Branch?
My parents have owned the property where we are for 20 years, so
Okay.
that made it easy, and we were only going to try on that spot, and
Yeah.
it all just worked out, and just we got really lucky in that sense, but because we were the perfect distance from everything,
Yeah.
churches and schools and hospitals and everything that TABC requires. So yeah, I mean, and I grew up there. My mom grew up there. She's like the 5th generation Spring Branch native. I mean, her parents were one of the German, or like her family were like the German settlers in Spring Branch. So we have
Back when it was still
Okay.
called
Yeah.
Spring French Chick.
Yeah.
Something like that.
yeah. So we have deep roots in Spring
Yeah.
Branch.
Spring Branch is on the rise right now.
It is.
It kind of started probably in the last 3 years or so,
Yeah.
but it's really expanded over, I guess, this last year.
Yeah.
And I may have only really taken notice with my job change
Right. Yeah.
that I have to be out there, but I've noticed that there's more bars popping up. Is there more than one brewery in the area? Or
No, we're the
is
only
you
brewery.
guys at the moment?
So we joke about that, like Spring Branch's best brewery.
There
You know,
you
go. Oh, yeah.
we're the only one. But there's a lot of bars coming in. There was always bars there, but they're more like local spots, but and not quite craft beer spots. So
Yeah.
a lot of craft beer bars coming in. Cobble and Spoke, the Branch have been there for a while. Might as well is another newer one that just opened.
Yeah. It's run by the same people who run
Eureka.
Eureka, and
Yeah.
then also the Watch Bar out
Oh, yeah.
downtown. I'm gonna get it wrong.
It's okay, man.
Yeah. And then another one, the guys that own Heart Plumbing, which they own Drink of Ages and No Label, investors in that. They're investing in another a bar coming into Spring Branch called Lazy Yolks, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Beer Garden. So that's
Yeah.
new. And then they just released a big article about this development off of Gessner and I-10 for a Kirby Ice House spinoff or something in the area, and a bunch of other stuff. So I mean, it's really, really getting crazy.
Yeah, and with the right thing for what you're trying to go for at the moment is
Right.
craft beer center,
Right.
or at least with a minor focus on craft beer at the very
Exactly.
least. And so, Ooh, sorry. I just blanked completely. I was thinking back because you said you guys joke about being Spring Branch's #1 brewery. We were at Eureka Heights on Sunday, and they have all these signs that are like, they're very specifically accolades only they could have accomplished. Like best high fives.
Yeah, and they did something like Houston's best 45th. They did some marketing.
And then like quoted it. It's the internet.
Yeah.
I went to a seafood place, and the guy, he was like, "We have the best seafood in the galaxy. You want to know why?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Because the best seafood in the world was already taken."
Galaxy.
Like, all right, bro, touche.
Yeah, there's some people that come up with just a nice phrase like that.
Exactly.
Like,
it's closed now, so I guess it wasn't that.
Twisted X, they have the one, the Pilsner they just recently put out, and it's like the beer of barbecue or something.
Yeah.
They looked it up, and no one had taken it. And you just go ahead and grab
creative,
it. Yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kind of in the opposite direction where we're like kind of coming up with a beer name can be difficult. And it looks like you guys decided, you're like, well, it really can. And so you're like, screw that noise.
Yeah.
And several other breweries have done it. And I always respect it when you can do it that route where, like, y'all's lineup is amber.
Yeah, well, it is what the style is.
Yeah.
And mainly just because when we were homebrewing, that's what we called it. Actually, it was light and dark beer.
Yeah.
That was in the beginning when we were doing, like, extract brews. And then we slowly, developed into all grain. And so we were brewing blonde, amber, stout, pale ale. And so that's what we called it.
Yeah.
And we never had creative names to begin with.
Yeah.
So when we started...
Oh, we had names. They just weren't very creative.
Yeah, exactly. So when we started... when I was thinking of the tap wall and everything, and I'm like, okay, let's think of names. And I was forcing it, and I couldn't really think of anything that stuck and I liked, and so we just said, screw it, let's just keep with what it is and and go with that. And so, but it's at the same time we're branding the brewery in itself in the beginning, and so I didn't want to also brand each individual beer too.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Keep the whole brand as one, and just keep it easy. So
that way, when y'all do name a beer, it's extra special.
Right, exactly.
Go. Yeah, and then it helps y'all in terms of branding again with tap handles,
right?
Where y'all can make them pretty universal, and you're able to either fill a slot with like IPA, amber, or however you decide to do it. So
that's always my biggest pet peeve when I go to these mainly craft beer bars, and like before we opened, and I would look at the tap and I'm like, okay, I see that it's X brewery, but what style of beer is that? And I would ask the bartender, and they're like, I think
let me go read the back of the handle.
It is, or didn't even set it on there.
Yeah.
And so that's, it had this creative name and then the brewery brand, but I wanted to know the style of the beer.
Yeah,
so
I got you.
That was my thing on like the tap handle. Loud and clear what it is.
With you guys, are like the marketing's in the liquid. It's good. It's good. If you know you like IPA,
right,
then you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it started with light and dark. Were any of those like from the testing grounds? Did those make it to the big leagues? Like when you guys started up?
Yeah. So those developed into the blonde and the stout.
Okay.
So that was like the light and dark.
Yeah.
No, actually, I lied. That was the pale ale and the stout.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was the pale, and then we actually had a red too, and so that developed into the amber. And so those were those three, and then we wanted something lighter than the pale ale and less hoppy, so then we created the blonde, and then we didn't have an IPA until November of last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Getting by with the essentials.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, we created the brewery, we started home brewing because we, my dad's philosophy was I want something easy to drink, higher alcohol, and he thought it was cheaper to make it himself than buy it.
That's Costco thing. Like that's long-term thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, overall.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, I'm going to save money.
Yeah. You might look at $7.99 for a 6-pack and think that's not that bad to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to be paying
exactly
$150 for barrels.
Yes.
Barrels. Swimming through it like Scrooge McDuck.
That's my dream. What 2 beers did you bring today?
Oh yeah. So
completely.
Speaking of, so this is the stout. I think that was the black top, and
Smart.
then which is one of our really, if you like dark beers, really really good. Everybody tends to really love that. And then I was gonna bring the IPA, but as I was pouring it the keg blew, and I didn't have time to switch kegs, so I brought the blonde, which is our really easy to drink, really light beer. Everybody loves. Probably IPA and blonde are probably best sellers.
Nice.
Second up is, or like behind that's probably the stout. Just if you liked, like I said, if you like dark beer, it's really really good.
Gotcha. Do you mind if we bust into the
which one
blonde ale? You can start with that one and then end with dark.
Sweet.
That works.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for making time for us again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for doing it on a Tuesday.
Oh, of course. And so you told me you guys were brewing on, would you like some?
I'm okay right now.
Okay.
I don't want to, I try not to drink so I don't say something stupid.
I understand.
That's fair.
I tend to drink to keep myself from saying the stupid things I'm thinking and saying, talk about the beer, dummy. And so.
I'm a wild card.
Yeah. I'm just here.
There we go.
Yeah, probably. One of our rules is don't take yourself very seriously. So if you're drunken, we're not going to ask you to like audit your taxes in front of us.
Yeah.
Has it really been a year?
Yeah.
Now, with the year celebration, did you guys do any specialty brews or put on a special event?
Yeah, so we have our 5 year, 5 year.
Might need a little more to drink.
I know.
Get a plan.
Our 5 year-round beers. So, like I was saying earlier, our Pale Ale, IPA, Blonde, Amber, and Stout. And then, so those are usually always on tap. And then we're slowly adding in specialty and seasonal brews. So we, beginning of the year, we did a pecan porter, which was a really, really big hit. It was really good. Everybody's asking when we're going to make that again, but I'm going to try to hold off until kind of colder weather.
Keep trying to pivot them over to
the stout.
No one's gonna really drink a pecan porter, in
July,
the summer.
Yeah. Well, the market is slimmer, and so it's
exactly.
Like, do we do it?
Right. So, and then for our 1 year, we released a blood orange IPA, and a brown, and so the blood orange was a huge hit. Everybody was saying that was probably our best beer yet. So I mean, it was really good.
That's nice.
It lasted 2 weekends. So
blood orange is hot right now. Blood orange is what the grapefruit was about 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's one that happened last year. I can't. I think hibiscus was big last year. I can't remember. But I'm excited to try blood orange IPA. Do you guys plan to brew it again anytime?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking of just every time I brew the IPA, throw in a different fruit. So like grapefruit or mango or tangerine. I don't know, just something else. Because the blood orange was more of a seasonal. But because it was such a, I mean, you can get that year round. So, I mean, I got you. I don't know. We'll see.
I think you can use the second fruit that you use, like base the popularity of that blood orange and be like, it's the same recipe. We're just adding this fruit, and then from there, every fruit be like, I gotta try that one.
You already know one. You hit with one. Try another.
Exactly, and it is actually our IPA recipe, and I just throw the fruit in, and when I dry hop, so just adding the fruit in, so it's super easy.
And if you have a bunch of untapped nerds, they'll love it. Just every time they can check something new in. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask, backtrack a little bit because you said like before you got into all of this, you were in school and you graduated. What school did you graduate from?
University of Alabama.
Okay. Roll Tide. Was that time where you always wanted to go, like growing up, or?
No, in high school, just a lot of people were going there and visited, and that was the only school I visited. So
nice. There you go.
Fell in love. It was just such a beautiful campus and obviously fun. So
and those are my two favorite words, so it was pretty easy.
I visited A&M. That was the only school I visited. I guess technically I visited.
They told you to leave.
Texas State. No, I went to A&M and I was like, not me. This is definitely not me. Y'all do you. Be proud of what you're proud of. It's just you're not gonna get me.
Exactly.
Sorry. And then ended up a cougar. So
there you go. Go Cougs.
Oh no, he meant like he sleeps with younger men for money. Like he pays them.
Wild card. I don't think that's what it's called, but it would take way more Googling.
A cougar? No.
I don't think men are cougars.
He cougar?
I don't know.
Probably. I can see. I guess they're just sugar daddies. I don't know.
I really couldn't tell you.
But
sure then you can be a sugar mama. Yeah, so I think you can be a man cougar.
I would imagine there's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode to explain all of it.
Garrett, there's no limits to what a man can do. Okay, you can be a cougar.
Well, I will say I am a fan of this blonde ale.
Yes.
I can understand why it would be one of the more popular ones.
Yeah.
I remember I was trying to get to. You said you guys were brewing on Thursdays. And when are you open?
Oh, open Fridays and Saturdays. So Friday 3 to 10 and Saturdays 12 to 10.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, we're slowly adding more days, so eventually we'll open on Thursday. But our 1 year anniversary pretty much wiped us out on our supply, so I'm trying to get back up, and so we'll slowly add in Thursdays once we're back up to
you have like
inventory.
Food vendors and stuff out there as well.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
Usually, pretty much every Friday, Saturday we have some sort of food out.
Cool. Do you have any regulars? Like one that's pretty much like y'all are their second home, or?
Yeah, we have JQ's Tex-Mex Barbecue a lot. They're from the area too, so he's every other weekend.
Another J.
Yeah, exactly. So
it sounds like y'all's branded barbecue, actually.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, he blew his knee out, so he's out for a month or so. So it's been harder on me to find more vendors.
Man. I was hoping he'd have like some young barbecue protege that he's just been grooming through the system, and
just for this moment,
ready for his shine.
And then he blows his knee. Oh!
Exactly.
And then just like the end of the last Star Wars, it zooms over to some other kid who's like sitting there with a pair of tongs, flipping like a piece of bread.
Ready to do this.
I think he has the force.
Yeah.
I think he has the sauce.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I saw on y'all's website that y'all's bar top is made from a tree from y'all's family ranch.
Yeah.
Is that true? Okay.
Yep.
It must be a big tree. That was a big bar top.
Yeah.
We went and cut down. So, kind of good and bad story. The drought that came through Texas years ago, like probably 10 years ago now, killed a bunch of trees on the property. So there's still some of them are fallen, some were still standing, and so. Unfortunately, they're dead, and so, but it made it easier for cedar because cedar has to be really, like, dried out to use for furniture or for building out anything.
Right.
So, it made it better for, we were able to work with it kind of thing. But, so, that we cut a couple trees down, and then the neighbor across the street has a sawmill. He owns a construction company. And so he has a sawmill over there, and we asked him to cut it into 3-inch slabs. Mm-hmm. And we swapped, he didn't ask for money or anything. It was like bartering kind of. Nice. It was cool. Yeah. We cut down mesquite trees while we were doing that, and we swapped him for that. And so he makes mantles, like fireplace mantles out of the mesquite. And so so we gave him that. He gave us the 3-inch slabs of I think it was like 2 or 3 different cedar trees.
And now his first beer is always free.
Yeah, exactly. And so
that's why I thought the barter was.
He sits down on it and like bangs his fist. And it's a good piece of wood.
Yeah, exactly. So we were able to. It was kind of funny. We were putting we had all these different slabs, and we kept putting them up. We built the frame out and everything, and the tin on the side of the bars from the farm, also an old barn, and we kept putting up all these different slabs. Like, okay, this one looks good. Are these kind of leveled together? Because it's two pieces of like slabs next to each other.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of comparing, and we were like, okay, I think these work the best. So we put them down and nailed them, whatever we did, and stained and as we were standing, as I was staining them, we realized that the 2 slabs we used were the exact same tree. So when you're looking at the bar, it's like a mirror image.
Nice.
And so you can see the same design patterns on both sides. So it really worked out. And so then we used, we just built out like the drain and the tap wall again and adding more taps. And so the drain, my dad got an extra, like our last piece of the cedar. And so one of the slabs that we had and like inlaid the drain into the cedar.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's all kind of like, matching. And then the back of the tap wall is boards from a barn on the ranch, and same with like the chalkboard frame and everything. Mm-hmm. So we reuse.
You guys all sound very like self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Or like the area itself, even just like bartering with your neighbor. Like, hey man, here's some wood for some other work you're gonna do. Thanks for doing work on this wood. That's a really cool idea that the brewery just sprung from all of that, because then it also came from. I was misunderstanding on y'all's site. I thought you had a. Like land offsite, like in a whole other city.
Oh, but like brewery operations.
Yeah, the brewery and the land that you guys own and operate, or like have your farm on. Yeah,
maybe one day. No, but like the grain, the spent grain from brewing, my mom every Friday takes the grain up to the farm and feeds the cows with it, and they love it. So it's like candy to them.
Yeah, I think Odell does something along the lines of like Lou Jean, where the milk stout they use, the milk I think directly comes from some farmer named Lou Jean. I could have fell on. Like, who was a guest who told us they were very susceptible to marketing, because that's it's another radio show host from a radio program we're a part of, And he was saying he's very susceptible to marketing, and I am with beer cans or beer labels in general.
Yeah.
Tell me something cool about this beer, and I'll
buy it.
Everyone
exactly.
I'll take it as gospel. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah,
the blonde's really good.
Thank you.
I'm a very big fan of that. I was ready to go to the stout once I finished that.
So, were you already like into beer at all before y'all started this process, or was this like something that like your dad or your mother were more into, and then you kind of got into yourself?
Yeah. So when I was, my dad started homebrewing. Well, he was actually taught by his dad when he was a young boy. Not necessarily taught, but he was around it when he was a young boy.
Yeah.
And then his father was taught by his father, and actually during Prohibition time. So more out of necessity to brew.
Yeah.
Illegally, but. So yeah, exactly. And so it's funny to hear now that, you know, some of my parents, like my dad's old neighbor, commented on something on 4J and found out about us and said, "Man, really, Larry? Like, I remember stuff bubbling in the garage all the time growing up."
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely like generation over generation of brewing beer. So, which is really awesome. So when my dad was doing it, I was in school, I was in college, and he really picked it back up again during that time. And I mean, my parents were going to Carbach and St. Arnold and going to all the spots and having all this fun and going to all these breweries. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I'm in college drinking Natty Light and Fireball, you know. So
a delicacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Mad Dog.
I think Abita I was drinking a lot of Abita because I was in Alabama. So
that makes sense.
I was drinking a lot of Abita, or like
I could see Fat Tire maybe getting all the way up there.
Fat Tire. What's the one with the 5?
Magic Hat?
Magic Hat number 9. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's one that I always, like, even as I was learning craft beer, I always saw it, and even beforehand I recognized.
Right.
But I've just never tried it.
Right,
I don't think I've ever had a single one of Magic Hat's beers, and no disrespect meant to them.
Right, exactly.
I've never found myself compelled to buy it.
Yeah.
I think I always saw it and I was like, other people are buying it.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
Snob.
I'm going to grab this Devil's Backbone like 4 years ago. Tell my friends about this.
Yeah.
We had Devil's Backbone on the podcast last week.
I was skeptical when I went to buy it.
Yeah.
But our guest last week, she hosts a lot of events, and so she gets sponsorships from Buffalo Bayou, and then is recently sponsored by St. Arnold and Eureka Heights for her event.
Very cool.
So I always am down to drink their beer, but I was like, it kind of seems redundant. I'll go get real ale. And I forgot this guy's like addicted to Devil's Backbone.
I had to.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
It's a good addiction.
It's only a problem when I finish the 6-pack. Then I'm irate. People say I need to calm down.
Then I'm too loud for a Tuesday.
For this party,
Too loud. That's great.
Terrible.
Oh man. Do you guys have any parties planned or any big events planned coming up at the brewery?
Yeah. So actually, this Saturday, we are doing an adult Easter egg hunt.
Ooh, okay.
And it's kind of funny. People I have it on the chalkboard at the brewery, and people are like, "What does adult mean? Like, wear clothes?" I'm like, "Yes, please come clothes."
It sounds like the setup to an Arrested Development payoff.
Right.
So, or imaginations are going wild. Just they're like, does this mean you have this? I'm like, no. So what it means is it's going to be like beer tokens and that kind of stuff in the eggs. And there's some in candy too. So if you want your kids to participate, have at it, and they can collect all the eggs, but you have to be 21 to use the beer tokens. But so
pretty
we have
strict
that.
on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. So that's why it's adult, just because it's a beer.
Not
hunt.
whatever else you're thinking.
Yeah. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Yeah.
So, but we try to always do something. So we do bingo a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Try to have live music every now and then, and just always try to.
Y'all setup is like indoor, outdoor, right?
Mostly outdoor.
Yeah.
We just expanded to the warehouse next to us, so we are slowly tearing down the wall that separated the warehouse, and so our size will double pretty much coming pretty soon.
Nice.
So there's tables and chairs on that side now. But we're slowly kind of building it out and making it nicer in our home and stuff. So.
Getting in contact with bigassfans.com
and
stuff like that.
Exactly.
The number one supplier for all craft breweries across the globe.
That way,
in the warehouse.
That way our parties can get real adult.
Yeah.
Big ass fans.
Big ass fans. You want to try that stout?
Oh yeah, if we could.
Yeah.
And then I also there was one.
You can only look at it.
Tell me about it. There was something I thought of as we were discussing when you were at Alabama. But whenever you came back, was there any breweries specifically or beers that you tried that you were kind of like, okay, I'm in this craft beer game now. Like I'm with this and I'm no longer with that.
I think when I moved back, I lived in Dallas for 7 months, and so I got back to Houston as soon as I could.
Had to make a pit stop in Dallas.
Yeah, but I had to stop in Dallas for a little bit. But so when we went out there, I was drinking a lot of like Fireman's Four. Mm-hmm. What else did we drink? Maybe Sierra Nevada.
I wasn't
there.
I
don't know. I'm looking at you like, what else do we used to
Carlos,
drink?
you're at those brunches. Yeah. What were we drinking? Around what year was
Six
this?
Devil's Backbones?
2013 to 14.
Okay. Yeah.
So Sierra Nevada.
Maybe Brain Dead was already up and running then. I don't know. I've been to Dallas to drink one time, and I think I went to Brain Dead both days.
It's the only reason why you should be in Dallas.
Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never went to any of the places. Breweries. We're always at bars, but cool. Yeah, I mean, but slowly getting into that. But it wasn't until I moved back to Houston and picked it up with homebrewing with my dad, and started to visit. Everybody else.
What was that moment when y'all were homebrewing where you're like, I think we can sell this to other people. Like, I think we can convert what we've got here into a brewery.
God, I don't know. I feel like it was really early on.
Yeah.
I remember when I was brewing, and I think we were still like partial grain at the time, and I just remember writing all these notes, like, you know, on our brew page, like our notes of what we're doing, and that's always been standard. But to the side, I was like, okay, what is this? What is this? I need to learn more about this. What does this mean? What if we do this? What does this change? So I nerded out on it really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a good thing to nerd out on.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of chemistry happening at once.
Exactly.
And like the smallest mistake can pretty much, it can, like, if you decide to become a brewery, especially in this last like 2-year window in Houston, it's like people have kind of thrown out the idea that like you're allowed to not make your best beer when you first open as a brewery. Like people that critique it, where it by no means are people supposed to sell bad beer, but it's like it definitely is allowed to get better.
Right.
And so that I love the stout.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I feel like most breweries, like if you're a year in with a stout, I think it's the water. Maybe is what it is. Something happens with stouts where they don't hit the right way.
Yeah.
But yeah, just enjoying this a lot.
Hitting the right way.
Yeah, thank you for hitting the right way. 4J Stout. Imperial Stout or Stout?
Just Stout, yeah. It's 6.7. The blonde's about 5.3. So pretty. All of our beers are 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Our specialties and seasonals, they'll start going up a little bit more, 6, 7. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, I need to make a stronger beer for myself.
Yeah. When I get off,
I just want a strong. I want like a 9%.
Yeah.
9%. What style?
I don't double IPA or something like that.
Is that your normal? If you're gonna sit down after work or on an off day, IPA, double IPA.
Something, yeah, or stout. Usually my go-to is a dark beer, and then like a strong something, and then I'll maybe probably switch to IPA.
Strong something.
Yeah.
So you want to get in and get the job done, and start socializing after number 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
But at the same time, like our opening, I almost said anniversary, our grand opening last year, all of our beers, we're still getting our adjustments right. Mm-hmm. So our first go round of all of our beers were 6 and 7%. So even like which it wasn't even into style almost, because like our blonde was 6 something.
Yeah.
And which is not, it's like an imperial blonde almost, but so everybody was really having a good time at our grand opening.
The feedback was nothing but positive. There was one negative.
Yeah.
Kind of ruined the night. Yeah. Not gonna lie, we don't want that guy back.
Right. Exactly.
99% though positive.
Yeah. So ever since then, I'm like, well, maybe we should keep it all a little more sessionable and 5 and 6s. So. Throw in a stronger beer every now and then.
Right.
I got you. Treat them when they've deserved it.
Yeah. And you want people to hang out and stay too.
Exactly.
Like, you don't want people to have 2 beers and be trash and have to leave. So.
I want to become the brewery that tosses people out.
Right.
That, or like the brewery that, yo, dude, 3 of my buddies went to 4J over the last month, and all 3 of them got trashed and then fucked their car up or something.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and especially the liability of it.
Oh,
We're like, this is too strong. So
there's so much that goes into play. Like once it gets more about, or it gets less about the beer and more about the serving the beer to like, people and presenting it.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, do we have enough beers that when we have food, people will want to eat and drink the beer and we'll have more than one and all that. So.
Yeah. And that's also the good thing why we're, or the good thing that we're in beer and wine and not in hard liquor.
Yes.
So I really do. I mean, we have had not many, no fights, no drunk stupid things going on or throwing up or, like you don't see any of that. Yeah. So I like that we're beer and wine.
I got you. And I know you said it's mostly outdoor. Do you guys have like a couple TVs or anything and show Astros games and all that?
TV inside, and we're gonna build out more, and then a TV outside too. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, with the new space, we have lots in plan, but just gotta get to it.
Totally understand.
And you can only get it in the brewery right now, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, we're so small. We're only a 2-barrel system. Yeah. So we're so small that we're selling out. We're barely keeping up as it is.
Yeah.
So with just our 2 days a week. So I mean, a lot of people have asked, a lot of bars and restaurants have asked. I'm like, and festivals and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we don't even have beer for that. So
I got you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good problem to have, but it's also stressful because you want
to be there doing all these things and stuff like that.
And it's deciding when that right time is to make that move because like the jump will have to be made.
Right.
And so I think you're on the right path, definitely. I mean, you know more than I do, though. You know how to brew it, so you've continued to do it past the year, so I think I like it. I'll tell more people to drink it. 2 thumbs up, yeah. I also wanted to ask, aside from your beer, is there a beer out there that just, like, is one of your go-tos? Is there anything out there that...
I don't know. I feel like I get this question asked a lot.
A beer you're always chasing.
No, I like to try everything.
I got you.
So I actually don't know if I've had a couple of the same beers. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I'm going to get shamed for saying this, but Miller Lite is like if I've had any beer twice.
I got you.
This year, it's Miller Lite.
No, I understand.
Because I'm like I'm out doing something that.
Well, you're probably mostly drinking your beer.
Fishing or something, then I'm having that. But, no, I drink everybody's beer. A lot of people bring in beer for me. Mm-hmm. So, because I'm there every weekend, so a lot of people will bring in beers to try, and we'll just throw them out on the bar and sample everything. And
I got you.
So which is really fun. I love to try everybody else's beer. If on my days off, I'm usually at a brewery.
Yeah.
Somebody else's brewery. Yeah. So, again, I love trying new beers and just seeing what else is out there, but I can still appreciate what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
I don't know. I don't really have like a go-to.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay not to.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. It's not okay. Miller Lite isn't a good enough answer. Yeah.
I know.
To be fair, the downvotes have come in since he said no.
Yeah.
No one cared.
We're canceled. Yeah, we're canceled.
I'm gonna get banned.
I can't log back into our Facebook account. Jesus.
I know. I'm gonna get
found us
banned, but
out of all the Facebook groups.
I know exactly. I'm not a real craft beer drinker.
So what are the other 3 J's up to?
So the oldest one lives in New Orleans, so unfortunately she's not around very often, but she's coming in town in a couple weeks with her 2 kids, and she's pregnant with a boy, which is huge because we are a family of all girls.
Okay, yeah.
So first boy in like 2 generations.
So Joseph, Josiah.
Which, by the way, sorry, I think we've completely buried the lead up until 33 minutes. I don't think we've mentioned, you guys are Houston's only, correct, female-owned and operated brewery?
100% owned, yeah. There's a lot of other female owners, but they are with their husbands or brothers or dads or something else, so it's not 100% female-owned. So
that's y'all's
something
best
else
beer
was
in Spring Branch.
Yeah, exactly. It's our marketing.
But it's a true fact. And
and we may be only in Texas.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not 100%, but there's Fort Worth has, I want to say Bitter Sisters or something like that, but it's husbands, and then Celis
is
mother-daughter, but it's, they have other investors to not make them 100%. So like we're probably the only one in Texas 100% female owned. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Someone got to be first, and it was you guys. So congratulations on that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of in the United States. Yeah. So there's other.
Oh yeah, and like you said, just in Texas, there's several women, like female owners of breweries, and head brewers. Yeah. Like Avery, I think she just recently left Jester King, but like one of the most popular Texas breweries out there, if not American.
Right.
The last, I don't remember exactly how long she was there, but ran one of the best breweries and several others. And, yeah. And so.
Yeah, so you said 1J's in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. So Jessica's in New Orleans with a baby on the way. Her husband works there, and so they're trying to get back. She was a pole vaulter U of H, so she's a kook. So, and then Jackie and Joanna. Jackie, they live in Houston, and they're at the brewery every weekend. They're at 4J's helping out, and so they're usually around. Jackie is a high school biology teacher.
Nice.
So dealing with high school kids all the time. And she actually, we posted today, she was selected out of who knows how many applicants to, for this this research and trip, and you go and do research and study with other scientists and engineers and all kinds of stuff. So as a teacher, there's like 4 or 5 different trips, and they're going to pick, but they're all like across the country or in different countries. Yeah. And so they're going to tell her which trip she's going on, but she just got selected. Actually that was like today. So awesome. So she's awesome. She's really, really smart. Biology, that's
shouts out to Jay.
Yeah, she's super smart. So J2. And then Joanna, she's a third sister, and she helps out with my mom and my dad and works for them kind of, and then obviously for 4J. So she does a lot for 4J.
Cool.
And then me.
I'm here doing a podcast.
4J, they're at home drinking the beer and making the beer.
Yeah. I between them and my dad, I have to make sure we have inventory. So my mom and I don't drink that much. That much. My mom barely drinks, but I am working more than I'm drinking. So
gotcha.
You're
the midpoint from mom to sister and dad. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I need y'all more over here on my end.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's cutting them off and telling them to get out. So
there you go. Those are the only customers we're kicking out.
Real quick, just want to say hi to Dende.
He's watching.
Past guest of the show. Yeah.
Cool.
Dende said hi.
Hey.
Hi to everybody. Hi Dende. If we can't make it, hope your pajama party's dope.
By the way, he says it pajamas, not pajamas.
J-A-M.
I asked
that,
him.
Right?
Yeah. Huh?
You take issue with that, right?
I'm just not a pajama person.
Okay, but I'm
a pajama person.
But then, like, say you want to be cute about it, and you're gonna say, I'm gonna put my jammies on. Do you say I'm gonna put my jammies on?
Yeah.
Jammies.
Ja. All right.
No, I just don't get cute about pajamas, bro. That's all.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. You should try it sometime.
All right.
It's great.
Yeah, 10 days of pajama party next week on the 10th. Or next month on the 10th.
How does everyone say crayon? Because I know I don't say it right. But
you say crayon?
I say crayon.
Yeah. Crayon. I don't know. Crayon, crown.
Crowns always sound wrong to me.
I know.
I'd probably say crayon too. I don't just ask for crayons anymore.
To be fair, I think this is the first time I've said it this year.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
But I know I stick to it with crayon.
Yeah.
It's crayon.
That's what. Yeah, when we go to restaurants, I always think it's weird that you ask about those. Like we're 2 grown men. But yeah, no, that's a weird one. That one, and then of course there's caramel.
Yeah, that's
caramel.
And the con.
I feel like I've changed to caramel. I used to say caramel, but now I'm like, I'm an adult. I should say caramel.
Yeah. I'm an adult. I should start acting like one.
You say tomato, and everyone else says it wrong if you say tomato.
Yeah, a lot of people would come in and say pecan. Can I get the pecan porter? And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Pecan always just reads super country. Like,
right.
I can only hear pecan in like sweet old Southern lady voice.
Yeah.
Boys, now don't forget I made a pecan pie.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. It's like pop. I can only hear it in a Minnesota accent.
Pop.
That's the only people I've ever met.
I
in
got
my
family
life
from up north, and same shit. Like
Pap. Do you know anyone from Philly or New Jersey? Mm-mm. Okay, never mind then. I'll stick on my Wooder argument from last week. I'll just hold it.
There you go. Until we get someone that's familiar with the area.
Yeah. Sorry. This is where this podcast turns up. Wooder and all that. No, sorry. Before we were to go out, is there anything people should know about 4J or anything you'd like them to know?
Just come on out. I mean, we're constantly changing and trying to improve and making changes to the place and the brewery. And, I mean, when you come to 4J, you're part of our family and you see 95% of our family, so
you're bound to meet at least 2 of the J fam.
Yeah, my mom and I are pretty much always behind the bar.
If Vin Diesel comes, he's never going to leave. That guy loves family. That guy loves it. Trust and believe.
Then you're invited.
That'd be good for both parties. If we're being honest. That guy needs somewhere to be on the weekends, or else he's just at Korean karaoke places. And then you guys get Vin Diesel on location.
That'll be fun.
Social medias and the website and all that.
All over that, and trying to keep up with it and do
4J Brewing on everything.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So check us out on that, and we try to, like I said, have events and fun stuff going on, and food trucks, and always so.
Fridays from 3 to 10. And did I read correctly? Beers are $1 off until 7.
Yeah.
Awesome. Even better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the year-round IPA is $4.
There you
go. I can only attribute to the 2 that I've had here today. They were delicious.
I pay how much with $4? $4. I pay $4 for it. That's for sure. You can guarantee. I'd probably even give 5.
Yeah.
100% honest.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it.
I'm no crook.
It's normally 5, but during happy hour it's 4.
So. Sweet.
I would tip handsomely.
There you go.
Because the beer is great. Yeah. But no, and we are Southside Collection. SouthsideCollection.com, Southside Collection on all social media.
Pop-ups.
This Saturday, April 20th, we'll be celebrating Passover at Axelrad. Fat Tony will be blessing everybody with a little neon moon and Too Short rendition. And then in 2 weeks, Cinco de Fortho, the 4th, we'll be at Southern Star Brewing, and then also at Holman Draft Hall, most likely on Sunday, the 5th.
With some new shirts.
Yeah. With some new stuff.
Brand new shirts, some exclusive shirts for Cinco de Mayo.
Nice. So and once again, Southside Collection on everything. If you're listening, appreciate you. If you're watching, appreciate you. Bye.
Peace.
I never know what buttons to press. I make it awkward every time.
It's been 114 episodes and you still ruin all the buttons.
And you know what it was? I actually had one less button to press this time.